Hello trainers, Ganeto here, and today we're diving together into Open Great League with 4 teams in total, showcasing not only their biggest assets but also their core breakers along the way, so be sure to stay till the end of each individual team showcase so that you can have the advantage over your opponents towards the early battles of the comeback from that Great League format of Go Battle League. So with that said trainers, we're gonna start off with the first team showcase now, and we're having Pelipper upon the lead, at the back Sebelai with Galarian Stunfisk. So I think that this team is extremely safe to use. You have nothing to worry about. Even against a steel type up in front, feel free to rotate around your Sebelai, but to be honest, even against a Bastion or a Galarian Stunfisk, those weather balls can still do a lot of solid work by your Pelipper. Then go in with Sebelai, farm down the remaining energy, and you're gonna be on a very good spot towards whatever comes in, unless they have a Carbonic. I hope I said that correctly. We're gonna showcase this Pokemon a little bit earlier, actually not showcase, gonna mention this Pokemon earlier on this video, and every single team that I'm gonna showcase today is gonna have coverage against Carbonic for sure. So about this team is super safe. You got Pelipper, you got Sebelai, which are two of the best generalists in the game, and the things that they are afraid of, the fairy types and the electrics, are gonna be covered by your Galarian Stunfisk, so you can see as to how you can utilize this team around the Galarian Stunfisk and still have the best outcome possible. So about the core breaker right now, we're gonna have Dragonite because it can go pretty well against Pelipper, has an even matchup against Sebelai, and of course a simple Rock Slide might finish it off from your Galarian Stunfisk, but for sure it has super power, which when it comes out from a Shadow Dragonite, it can definitely one-shot down even a whole Bastion or a whole Galarian Stunfisk out of the way. So be sure that you have your protection shields up in play, because against Dragonite you're gonna need them a lot. Of course it's gonna be a core breaker, not that much of a big deal for sure, especially when shields are up, so you can take advantage of that and bring even Dragonite to no HP in no time at all. For the next team showcase, we have a Medicham up in front, at the back Lickitung with Registeel. So this team is pretty heavy, and this team will win some big time battles for your Great League battles. So we're gonna have the Medicham up on the lead, which is just gonna be super strong with those counters, and you have Ice Punch for the flyers for coverage. Of course Psychic is gonna be your main way to go, I believe, so feel free to exchange Ice Punch with something like a Power Punch if you feel like you have to, but I really recommend going with counter, Ice Punch and Psychic, because Psychic is most likely gonna give you coverage against neutral threats, and of course on the mirror battle it is gonna be much more needed, especially if you land a debuff. Well, extra points to you. At the back we have Lickitung with the Metal Trash Can, and I think that Lickitung is gonna be the main key for this team's success. As you're gonna see, your Medicham is gonna cover the steel types and the fighters pretty easily up in front, so feel free to rotate around your Lickitung, draw out that counter, and of course then try to finish it off with Medicham, and with that steel type or fighter out of the way, perhaps your Registeel will be on a very good spot to sweep whatever remains at the back, and that's why I like this team. Feel free to rotate around your Lickitung and you're gonna be on a very good spot overall. As a core breaker we have Trevenant, but to be honest I'm not afraid that much about Trevenant, especially after the nerf that it got this season with the Seed Bomb, and you're gonna see that with Trevenant out of the way, this team can go pretty rough against any opponent. Just in case you have a Trevenant upon the lead, your safe switch has to be Registeel and not Lickitung. Keep Lickitung for the end game and you are not gonna regret at all. So that's all about this team. Now let's see what we have for team showcase number 3. Now this team might look like a Grassol to you, but I swear it is not. So we're having the Ox up on the lead, which is gonna do a lot of solid work with its charge attacks. Feel free to use any charge attack possible, because I think that even with a non-Psycho Boost version like I do over here, you're gonna be on a very good spot most of the times. I have Rock Slide and Thunderbolt, but it's all a matter of taste, so feel free to experiment and see what moveset suits for you. So at the back we have as a safe switch Venusaur and the Clone closer will be Basildon. So this is the reverse thing that grassroots teams do. Most of the times they lead with Basildon or Venusaur, but for this one I decided to lead with Deoxys. This is because I like Deoxys more upon the lead. The counter damage can be insane, and of course it is such a good generalist that it is afraid only of those ghost types upon the lead, so this is when you need to switch out to your Venusaur. Of course the backline is kinda unsafe, but if you can manipulate your lead scenario with your Deoxys, most of the times you're gonna win pretty easily your battles, and if not, well, at least you're gonna have a fair amount of fights. So as a core breaker here we got Cofagrigus, which is just gonna dominate the matchup against the Deoxys, but of course the backline might struggle a little bit. According to PvPoke, you're gonna see that Cofagrigus is gonna have a ton of coverage against the entire team, but still the wins are gonna be pretty close for the backline. So you're gonna see that Cofagrigus might be a core breaker, but not that much of a hard zone. You can definitely play around it. So with that said, I think that this team is looking pretty strong, has a lot of offensive damage and pressure for the opponent, and of course you can always play around your Basildon as the closing part, because Basildon can wall a lot of things, and if you can destroy down what it is afraid of, mostly those fighters and the ground types, you're gonna be on the best outcome possible to end your battle. For the final team showcase, we have a weird team that you might haven't seen yet in action in Great League at all, since we're leading with Gliscor at the back Walrein and Shadow Drapion. If you do not have a Shadow Drapion, I don't know if you are gonna use this team to its max potential, because Shadow Drapion is in completely whole different level than the regular form, since it can two-shot things that the regular one cannot with double crunch. Some of those things are gonna be a potential Lantern, who knows, perhaps you can do it, a Skarmory, a Medicham, or even a whole Altaria if you can get that first debuff. So Shadow Drapion is looking pretty strong, and I think that it is once again for this format the ultimate safe switch. Do not run Sludge Bomb. I think that with Aqua Tail you're gonna get on a very much better spot overall for the safe switch at any team that you are gonna use it as a Shadow. I repeat, as a Shadow. Anyways, enough about Shadow Drapion. Now let's see what we have up in front, because Gliscor here is gonna do a lot of work. You have the wing attacks and the night slashes for general damage, and I think that with its typing can also wall down those fighters that your backline is kinda afraid of. Also you have access to Earthquake, which can protect your Walrein or your Drapion from those steel types, which is pretty neat. So you can see as to how you can play this team eventually as an ABB team, so that you can use Shadow Drapion aggressively, draw out the counter, finish it off with your Gliscor, and of course then your Walrein will be on a very good spot closing any battle at all. So this team is unique, and I think you're gonna enjoy it a lot if you have especially good IVs, because I do not have good IVs on my Gliscor and still can do a lot of solid work. So just imagine if you have good IVs on your Gliscor. As a core breaker here, I think that Aurorus is gonna do tremendous amount of work against your Gliscor, has a very good battle against Walrein, and of course can go pretty rough against Drapion. However, it is gonna be a close battle on that end. Of course, a simple Earthquake from a Walrein or your Gliscor can definitely seal the deal against Aurorus, but it's still kinda weird to land the Earthquake, especially if you can encounter a Pokemon like Aurorus upon the lead. So with that in mind, I think that with Aurorus out of the way, you're gonna have no other weakness at all. This team is super scary for a lot of meta threats, and I think that you're gonna win big once again in Go Battle League using a team like this. So that is gonna be all for today, trainers. I hope you enjoyed my video today covering my best teams around Great League for the open format. Also, be sure to leave a like before you go, and of course consider subscribing to my channel if you feel like you have to, because I think that more content like this will pop up on your YouTube feed screen. So feel free to do so, and you are not gonna regret it. Also, before you go, I have 2 videos for you to check out, so feel free to do so, and I will see you all into the next one.